When I got down here, I was very anxious to see how are they going to pull this off.
This is a very complex project. We have, on any given day, 500 people involved with this thing.
Cast is insane. There's so many good people on it.
The Western is back.
When you walk on a set, you're in a completely different world. You're there.
This is on such a bigger scale. This is as big as Texas.
I scoured the earth, literally. We looked at South America, we looked at Spain as to where would the best place be to do this. And without question, Mexico is the place.
Coming to this area of Durango, which is an amazing, amazing area in terms of the different locations and the scale of these locations, has been a great boon to the production.
I don't know if a lot of people know, but a lot of movies, hundreds of movies have been shot here, particularly a lot of the old Westerns. John Wayne has a ranch down here.
And action! They shot The Wild Bunch here. They shot The Sons of Katie Elder here. The Magnificent Seven. So you figured, well, if we're going to shoot a Western, and we want it to look not like a modern Western, we didn't want a CGI in background. We figured, let's get into the real environment. Authenticity is everything.
Choosing Durango was a very visceral choice. Durango has such richness of landscape, of different areas, that's a wonderful thing to bring to the screen. It's not exactly Texas, but it's pretty close to it. The landscape here is pretty brutal. It's hot, it's harsh, and that affects everybody, and that affects the way we shoot, it affects the camera, it affects all of us. So that comes from nature right into the sitting room. And when you watch it, you'll be thinking, my God, this is what the world is like.
Roland Joffe made a couple of the classics, The Killing Field and The Mission, Oscar nominated. And Roland's career has been a journey of telling the story of the human condition. And Roland goes into the heart of the world. Doesn't shoot movies on a Hollywood soundstage. He always went to where the story was rooted.
He comes up with things that I never thought possible. Roland Joffe takes what Leslie and I have written and moves it way beyond, and it becomes something much grander and real and emotional.
There ain't no denying you and I were meant to be together.
Well, the appeal of doing Westerns really is that they're sort of archetypal, and they're profoundly about people involved in moral situations because they're living rough. When you live rough, you are engaged in moral situations, much more curious enough when you live comfortably in a condo in LA. I love the idea of the world we live in, the environment, nature, the things in nature, actually reveal to us who we are in very many ways. So the Westerns are archetypal stories. They're kind of the last of the myths, I think.
Being on the History Channel, you have to be accurate. The wardrobe, the sets, the props all helped to kind of fall into that situation.
Having these sets, having these costumes, having unbelievable hair and makeup, it makes it much easier for us. You don't have to really push or force anything.
You have to remember, everything has to be made from scratch. Most of this stuff's 18th, early 19th century. The cannons, the wagons, the forts, everything had to be made from scratch.
Our production designer, Para, has done an incredible job. I mean, the Alamo, I wish we could have kept it up so people could come and visit it. I mean, it would have been a great tourist attraction.
I try to use as much as I can real materials and avoid the concept of that looks like a set, a Western set. And this city belongs to Mexico. That's why I put this little Mexican kiosk in the middle, just to put like the seal of the Mexican government in this little town.
When they designed this place, they started with that, because that's been around for who knows how long.
And they just piecemealed all this stuff together. Built this gorgeous saloon over here, 2 stories, functional. People upstairs and downstairs. They must have worked around the clock or something. I don't know. It's West, man. It's a cowboy town.
Well, the fun thing about history is that we have something to refer to, and the research that goes into, these real characters. So we're looking for photographs in books and libraries, online. It's recreating the clothes from the real characters from the real history. These are authentic recreations for Santa Ana. Did a beautiful job with our fabrics and bullions. Every character has something special, like Santa Ana. We made these beautiful gloves for him. This was handmade especially for him. And we've made thousands of clothing. We had our hats made. We had a great hat maker. The boots were made. The shirts, the vests, pants, dresses, tops, skirts. There's thousands of pieces. Okay. So this is the dress that Rebecca gets killed in, which is going to be fun to age and distress and destroy. The sandpapering it gives it that extra worn, that extra wear and tear. It's great to have that fraying look. It makes it that used, worn feel. That's from everyday wear and tear of wearing your clothes. We have an oil rag that we love to use as well. So it's instant dirt and grime. Our period, 1836, is pre-industrial, so they didn't have sewing machines back then. So a lot of things are hand-sewn, hand-woven, and even the wear and tear of the clothes. What are these men and women doing? They're on horses. The insides of their pants are frayed. The dust and the grime that gets in their collars and their cuffs, and from the dirt around the buttons, from the grimy hands. And those are the fine details that really make the clothing look worn. So all the details, like I said, on his shirt with the trim, the embroidery on his vest, from the pants being made with the seat and his shoes. He's owning it and wearing it well.
We had a full week-and-a-half boot camp of training guns, how to shoot guns, how to saddle up, mount up. They want to feel like they're cowboys. They've learned to lasso, they've learned their dialects, they've learned to throw knives, and they've learned to shoot.
I got down here about 2 weeks ahead of filming, and we had kind of a boot camp. And I've done more of the stuff on horseback in this production than I've ever done in any other production. And we're not even done yet.
We did a lot of great trail riding, things like that.
This shoot has been extremely physical. I mean, starting off with horseback riding. I mean, no matter where you're from, you don't ride a horse every single day. I never knew how difficult it was going to be because you have your sword and your guns and you're riding into battle, and it's over terrain that's not just a road.
Potentially getting bucked every now and then, maybe hitting the ground a few times. Lots of fighting stunts. The whole thing is very, very physical.
I thought the heat and the horses are gonna kill me on this.
All right, you want to talk to me? You want some attention? Yeah, I understand that. If you ever fall off your horse, get back on.
Everything we're using in this movie, because it's 1836, is flintlock. So that has its own little challenges.
The weapons used in this project just barely predated like the revolver or the multi-shot rifle. We're using single-shot musket pistols and rifles, and it's a completely different process. Loading it, it's very time-consuming. You have one shot, and then you've got a couple minutes of loading before you can shoot again.
Time-wise, if you were really, really good in this era, you could get maybe 3 shots off a minute.
Part of the description of Kit is that he's an expert horseman and an expert gunsman.
From day one, Trevor wanted to look like the gun was part of him. It was another appendage, as it were. And it just carried. He carries it really well. He carries it like he's carried it all his life.
Already decided
I ain't no bank robber. I ain't no damn snitch, neither.
CinemaScope was developed for the Western. And it's an art that doesn't come along very often because it's very complicated and it's extraordinarily wide frame.
The Westerns needed to express the landscape. And, you know, when you go to Texas and you go to the West, and even here in Durango, which is a kind of model for it, your eyes are doing this. So that's really necessary because that gives you nature. It brings it into the home in a way that I think is absolutely fantastic.
When you're in environments like this, it can only help to have the frame that big.
It's no wonder John Wayne and you know, they shot so many Westerns down here for so long because it's perfect for it.
It's spectacular. It's the way the Western should be. It is really making the location, Durango, and all these mountains, all this wonderful history they have here of cinema, to make it a character in the movie.
In the foreground was one group, my group was in the middle, and then Sam Houston's group was in the background, and it was really very, very expertly thought out, and I was quite impressed by that.
I mean, what was it like in those days? What did it feel like? And so I tried to search for images that hit you in the gut. So you have a sense of, I'm there, oh my God, I'm there. And that comes from the roving eye. You know, you're looking here and you're looking there, and so I try to get that feeling. I don't like lots of very quick cuts because I think actually, in truth, people feel the cheats. But I love the idea that the camera is moving and something's happened here and you've gone around it and then it's gone, but then you see the result of it there. That's, I think, fun.
The whole production's been a challenge to the cast, but we've all kind of bonded together through the horseback riding and the fencing and the shooting and everything else. Being away from home, you know, down here in a foreign country, it's really kind of brought us together.
With the actors, the sets, the story, Leslie, the choreography that we have to do, the sets, Paro, who's done this amazing set, working with a cinematographer who's as talented as Arthur Reinhardt. It's that whole group of talent that Leslie had assembled together that makes this exceptional to work on.